It's story time. The stories are real, the judgments are yours. You're invited to the 4th episode, Craziest Work Stories. Ready to judge? Hit the subscribe button, drop your thoughts below, and enjoy. I work as a forensic expert/investigator. A police officer came to my colleague and me, asking us to look for any hair or fingerprints on his wife's shirt, because he suspected she was cheating on him. The problem was that his wife was the lieutenant at the police station, so even if we wanted to, we couldn't investigate her. She found out anyway and fired him. But since they were married, the department assumed the dismissal was out of revenge, so they fired her too. 2 employees were, obviously, having an affair. One day, she came in with a huge ring, meaning the male employee had just proposed to her. They were planning divorces and talking about getting married. Then he went on vacation with his family, didn't show up on his first day back, and later called the manager to say he had moved and would mail his badge back. She had a nervous breakdown and ended up divorced and alone. O was caught hooking up with the head of accounting in his office on a weekend. After that, he took all the petty cash, drained whatever he could from the business account, and the 2 of them fled to Honduras. It was a wild exit. The company collapsed less than a month later once all the hidden accounts in default and collections came to light. People ended up taking computers, desks, chairs, TVs, basically anything not bolted down, as payment for their missing paychecks on the way out. Guy's wife was going through a long, lingering death from cancer. The whole office supported him for years, through treatment, then hospice. She passed away, and on his first day back after the funeral, he and the head of HR announced they were engaged. A few weeks later, they got married. People were flipping out, but nothing came of it. She already knew everything about his insurance, his wife's life insurance policy, his retirement, the fact that he owned his home and a rental property. The payoff was worth risking her job. At my old job, we had this coworker who was always a bit off. Let's call him Z. He wasn't the type to make friends, but he always had some wild story going on in his life. One day he comes into work, looking devastated. Red eyes, quiet, acting like he's barely holding it together. Naturally, everyone asks what's wrong. He says, "My wife passed away last night. I don't even know how to move on." Everyone froze. Even people who barely talked to him felt bad. Management pulled him aside, gave him paid days off, and the whole team decided to raise money to help with the funeral costs. People were donating $20, $50, some even $100 because they genuinely felt horrible for him. In total, he walked out with over $1,000. Fast forward a few weeks. He's back at work, acting normal again. Laughing, joking, no grieving phase, just switched back to default mode. Little things started not adding up. Someone asked how long he and his wife had been married, and he gave 3 different answers. Someone else asked how she passed, and he said a different story than he told earlier. Then the truth dropped. Another coworker who had him on social media accidentally clicked on his tagged pictures and realized something. He wasn't married. At all. Not even in a relationship. No wife. No obituary. No funeral. Nothing. Everything was a lie, just to get money out of people. When management found out, they were furious. HR confronted him, and he still tried to deny it until they literally showed him screenshots. He ended up quitting before they could fire him, and no one ever saw him again. We had a girl who kept showing up late, always with a new excuse. One day she walks in carrying a big tote bag that's moving. She said it was her emotional support animal, and HR legally couldn't question it. Turns out it wasn't a cat or a dog. It was a 4-foot snake she smuggled into work every day. Nobody knew until it escaped in the break room, and the entire office evacuated thinking it was a wild snake. She got written up, not for the snake, but for causing workplace disruption. The emotional support snake was banned from the premises. He had a supervisor who was always at work. First one in, last one out, never took breaks, never called in. Everyone thought he was just extremely dedicated, until the night cleaners accidentally unlocked a supply closet that was always mysteriously off limits. Inside, they found a whole secret bachelor apartment. An air mattress with pillows, a mini fridge stocked with energy drinks, a rack of neatly hung clothes, a gaming console plugged into a portable monitor, even little LED lights for ambiance. She had been living at work for months, showering in the gym downstairs and helping himself to snacks from the break room. She said paying rent was a scam and that this setup was financially efficient. She wasn't caught through security or HR, she was caught because she snored loudly, and the cleaners heard it one night while vacuuming. When HR confronted him, she actually tried to argue. Technically, I'm never late, never absent, and always available. This is commitment. HR did not agree. She was fired immediately. Our company did Bring Your Kid to Work Day, and one guy brought his 10-year-old daughter. She was adorable, for exactly one day. Then she started showing up every morning like she was on payroll. And she wasn't quiet. She ran around yelling, "I'm the boss of this floor." She held meetings where she forced adults to listen to her read picture books. If you tried to leave, she followed you with a tiny notepad saying, "I'm writing you up." She locked herself in the supply closet because it was her castle, dumped paper clips everywhere for decorations, unplugged someone's computer mid-Zoom so she could charge her iPad. Pure chaos. The breaking point? She stormed into a client meeting, grabbed the laser pointer, stood on the table and shouted, "Listen up, minions." Her dad thought it was cute, but the final straw was when she logged into someone's computer and sent a company-wide email saying, "You're all fired except my daddy." HR banned her from the building. To this day, we still joke she had better leadership skills than management. I was working late doing inventory in a warehouse store. It was quiet, too quiet, when my handheld scanner suddenly beeped. Loud. I wasn't even touching it. Then it started scanning non-stop, the screen typing random letters like someone invisible was using it. I freaked out and took it to my manager. He checks it, laughs, and goes, "It's literally off." Screen black. Dead. No battery. We walk back to aisle 14, the exact spot it happened, and the scanner in his hand turns on by itself, starts rapid-fire beeping, and flashes the number. 14. He dropped it and said, "Yeah, we're not fixing that." Later we found out an employee had passed away years ago, in aisle 14, while doing inventory with a scanner. I requested a transfer the next morning. So one random Wednesday at our office, the building started smelling wrong. Not burnt popcorn wrong, like rotting basement wrong. Maintenance went to check the vents, opened a storage room in the basement, and sprinted out so fast you'd think they saw the devil. 10 minutes later, a full SWAT team shows up. Everyone's freaking out, grabbing their bags, thinking maybe the microwave exploded again. But SWAT walks straight past us and heads to the basement. Meanwhile, Jerry from accounting, quiet, sweater-wearing, brings the same lunch. Everyday Jerry is sweating like he just ran a marathon. Someone asks if he's okay, and he whispers, "They weren't supposed to come this early." "Early, sir?" Moments later, officers come upstairs with that "we found something horrifying" look. People start whispering that they found a freezer in Jerry's secret basement locker, a locker he rented under a fake name, with evidence tied to a missing person case from 2 years ago. Jerry tries to escape, panics, and locks himself in the supply closet. SWAT drags him out while he yells, "I have to finish payroll." Police search his desk and find fake IDs, maps, cash, and a flash drive labeled "Do Not Open," which obviously they opened. It had photos of everyone from the office after work at their houses and an escape plan. All I am gonna say is report suspicious behavior. So I used to work the morning shift at a big grocery store, the kind that feels weirdly haunted at 6 a.m. when the lights flicker on and the automatic doors are still waking up. For months we kept noticing strange things. Bread loaves opened but perfectly resealed. Random apples bitten once and placed back. A pillow from Home Goods mysteriously moved behind the paper towel pallets. Security footage showing nothing. Literally blank spots. Like the cameras glitched only between 2 to 4 a.m. We thought it was raccoons or some employee sneaking snacks. No one cared enough to investigate. Then one morning, I'm opening the cereal aisle and I hear a sneeze. A wholehearted adult sneeze. Echoing. I freeze. Say hello? No answer. I walk toward the back shelf, and the big cardboard display of Frosted Flakes has a tiny slit cut in the side. I push the boxes apart and there is a full-grown man sitting inside the display like it's a studio apartment. Blanket. Flashlight. Portable charger plugged into our floor outlet. And a half-eaten rotisserie chicken. He jumps out, bolts through the back room, and dives into the ceiling tiles like he's Batman. The tile breaks, he disappears, and we swear he's gone. Police finally come, search the store for hours. Nothing. 2 days later, during closing, a ceiling tile in aisle 9 slowly slides open and a note falls down. I only stayed because I felt safe here. Thank you for the food. He was living in the rafters for 11 months. The police said he built an entire hidden loft above our dairy section, with blankets, canned food, and a mini fan he plugged into our electrical. The craziest part? The footage we thought was glitching? He was climbing over the cameras, perfectly timed, every single night. No one ever saw him again. But to this day, whenever I hear something rustle in the ceiling at work, I swear he's still up there.